I'm Alice Gray, I'm from Cardiff and I'm a science communicator. Science communicator is a bit of a broad term, and that's because it can cover a lot of different things. I basically do everything from podcast producing, video making, science writing, presenting, all the way to helping to organise Cardiff's Science Festival. I completed my degree in neuroscience from Cardiff University in 2013, and I was kind of unsure of where I wanted to go, because the traditional route is you do your degree and then you go and do your masters and your PhD. And for some reasons the masters and PhD route wasn't possible for me, but also I wasn't sure whether I wanted that kind of career out of my neuroscience degree. I really enjoy video making, and I'm quite a creative person. I really enjoy writing, so I wanted that to be a big part of my career. So I started working in science journalism and media production. So I would work with companies, like medical companies, to find new ways to communicate news that was going on in those companies. And now I work back at Cardiff University in the School of Biosciences, where I did my degree, and I work there as the communications officer, and basically work with the scientists to help communicate their new research and make videos about their research and make podcasts about their research to find new ways to communicate science. I've also worked with the BBC, ITV News to help make science more understandable, because that's what I love doing. I love making science understandable for the general public so they know what's going on in science, because that's really, really important. I mean, now more than ever, it's really important that the general public knows what's going on in the lab and how that's going to impact our life, because we've been waiting for an answer for a big question: will we get a vaccine, for a really long time, and will it be effective, and is it safe? All of that information needs to be available for the public, and I help do that. When I applied to university, I applied to do medicine and I didn't get in, and I was really gutted, but they offered me a place to study neuroscience in the School of Biosciences, and I actually thought that sounds interesting. I really enjoy the brain side of science, and it was an opportunity to go to university on a good course and a good degree. And one of the benefits of going and doing a biomedical sciences degree was that there's an opportunity to do their general entry to medicine course, which is basically you do your biomedical sciences degree, and then afterwards you can apply to medicine and you do a short form of the medical degree. And so I thought, well, if I go on to do neuroscience, I can apply for the general entry to medicine and still become a doctor at the end of it. And I got to the end of my degree, and I enjoyed it so much, and it felt like such a right fit for me that I thought, actually, this is what I meant to do. Even though I didn't go down the path that I thought I would, I ended up in an area of science that I really loved, and I wouldn't change how it went for the world. And then I entered into a career that suited every part of my personality, and allows me to continue and grow and learn new things, like learning animation, 3D animation, and podcasting, which has become really popular in the last few years. And now I freelance as well for a podcasting company and help them make podcasts too. I started a science blog when I was in university, and that's really where I started developing my skills in science journalism and got my first opportunity to move on to science, get my training in science communication and science writing professionally. And I ended up working with the Welsh Government to give evidence to their national STEM inquiry in 2015, I believe. So at the age of 23, I was sat in front of all of these governmental assembly members giving evidence about shaping policy in Wales. And they actually took on a load of my recommendations. So at 23, I actually changed how Wales works. I was also given the opportunity to do a TED Talk, which was extremely terrifying, but not something I ever thought I would get to do. I also was invited out by the European Space Agency to go to their Paris offices and talk to them about how they can improve their engagement and retention of women in science. which again, didn't think I'd get to sit in a room with people who'd been working on the Mars rover and talking to them in Paris about something I'm passionate about. And then in 2015 I was on the BBC's list of the top 100 inspirational and influential women in the world, which blew my mind, just because I was following things I was passionate about and making change because of that. In school I was quite shy and potentially considered nerdy student, and I would never have got up in front of people. I barely put my hand up in class, so it's surprising to look back now and see where I am now. I really enjoyed art and I really enjoyed science, and those were my two career options, was potentially going into art and also going into science. Science is a really creative, really innovative industry where you need that ability to be able to think outside of the box, and I think art and science is really connected in that way. So when I finished my GCSEs, I decided to focus on biology, chemistry, psychology and art for my A-levels. My idea was I was going to do art for my first year of A-levels and then drop it for my second year, simply just because I really enjoyed art, and then I wanted to focus on the scientific subjects to be able to apply for uni. But when it came to my second year of A-levels, I really didn't want to drop art because, again, it was something I really enjoyed, so I was able to also get my A-level in art whilst also getting my 3 science subjects. And I didn't do as well as I wanted to in my A-levels, but as I said, they offered me a place in neuroscience and I took it, and I really lucked out because I found something I loved. And one of the great things about Cardiff University, and this isn't a plug for Cardiff University degrees, but you can go on in one biosciences subject, and as you're learning about the different areas of biosciences, you can actually switch, which is great because that's kind of what a science career is like. You start to, as you go through your scientific career, slowly narrow down into what you are interested in. As I say, this isn't the path I thought I would take, but it's taken me to amazing places and doing amazing things that I genuinely wouldn't have imagined me doing when I was in school. And it's because I've been able to grow into the thing I enjoy and grow into myself as a professional. My favourite aspect of my current role is really difficult because it's so varied. As I say, I help out to arrange Cardiff Science Festival, which is really rewarding, but also I love the kind of science filmmaking and podcast producing. That is my main passion, to be honest. I know in school it can feel like, why am I studying all of this? Why am I studying pi? Why am I understanding the photosynthesis cycle and all of this? And it can feel really abstract, but actually it forms a really important foundation of science literacy. A lot of people don't understand the basics of science, and that makes making decisions later on in life really difficult. For example, immunisations and vaccinations, very topical at the moment. Being able to understand what goes into discovering vaccines and therefore making an informed decision about whether you'll take part in that vaccine is really important. And science teaches us to think in a really analytical and problem-solving way. When you hear about politics, when you hear about policies, and when you hear about things that are going to affect you in your lifetime, you need to be able to think critically about those things. Science can take you to a wealth of different places. I know people who studied my course have either gone on to do their PhD and work in research, but people like me who have ended up working in TV and production, lots of people go into finance. So I'd say if you have an interest in science or things that science has a hand in, which science has a hand in everything, being able to study science even at GCSE or A-level will set you up for good things in the future. And if you really enjoy it, I would say doing a degree in science takes it so much further. So I would really encourage you to see where science can take you, even if that's just studying at GCSE level, because it gives you a good foundation for applying for any jobs in the future even if they're not scientific related.